Okay, bagi orang yang tak faham when MACC bagi tahu kat Tengku Maimun yang Nazlan is conflicted and therefore he breached the judge's ethics, we don't know what the content. Okay, first things first, as far as ethics of judges, that's out of the scope of MACC. MACC tak boleh comment on benda macam tu, langgar ke apakah. That is for the judiciary punya commission to go through to ascertain any misconduct of judges with regards to the law and court proceedings. Itu tak ada mana-mana body lain yang boleh interfere. It is not their scope. Tetapi kalau katakan judge tu dia langgar orang, langgar lari ke, dia isap dadah ke, dia traffic dadah ke, dia corruption, that falls under MACC atau polis. Judge pun macam rakyat biasa juga, dia pun not above the law. Jadi kalau dia commit benda-benda tu yang bukan kena-mengena dengan dia punya performance as a judge, that falls under the relevant authorities. Sama juga. Jadi they can investigate a judge, tapi cuma for them to do this, they have to follow certain protocol, because they got to consult the Chief Justice, because those judges are under the Chief Justice. So that, kenapa kena consult? Sebab kena bagi tahu kat Chief Justice, so that Chief Justice kena make their own assessment, do their own investigation, check if there is veracity and benda tu boleh membusukkan nama judiciary. Then the Chief Justice can take steps to isolate the judiciary from this judge yang dah bersalah. They can suspend the judge, they can remove, they can terminate, they can do whatever. Once they have insulated and isolated themselves from the wrongdoing of the judge, then MACC atau polis can do their needful job on that judge and deal with him or her as they would any other public yang melakukan kesalahan. Okay, so this people need to be clear. Okay, tetapi isu cara dia conduct the proceeding, how they treat the lawyers or the the accused or the prosecution, or dia buat kerja tak betul ataupun dia deliver judgement salah macam mana apa semua, whatever yang tak betul in the conduct, his conduct as a judge, yang tu is not the scope of any other entity. Tak boleh. Only by the CJ and the judiciary punya commission tu. Ada nama commission itu. I'm not sure what the name is. Okay. Now that is a fact. Okay. So in this particular case, bila MACC kata dia found wrongdoing ke apa, doesn't matter. Dia boleh comment. Dia boleh bagi kat judge must concur. Tapi kalau katakan Nazlan punya conflict of interest ni, judge rasa tak kena mengena. Apa kena mengena? Where's the nexus that connects? Dia punya kerja and Maybank bagi loan pada SRC. What has that got to do with the crime that Najib committed? How does that abet the crime? Is that complicit with the crime? Tak. There's nothing wrong with SRC getting a Maybank loan. There's nothing wrong kalau Nazlan is the counsel for that. Why they don't go after Maybank? Why tak sue Maybank or charge Maybank in court? Why not? Because Nazlan was also staff Maybank kan? Why you zero in Nazlan? So therefore nexus tu tak apparent. Tetapi was also allegation there was 1 million that went into Nazlan punya account. Jadi kalau there is a link, there is a connection, he got 1 million and then he's conflicted, he knows certain things and therefore he used that thing to convict Najib, example lah. Okay, so then it becomes a scope for MACC juga. But again, got to clear. Protocol kena clear dengan the CJ. This is important. Jadi, we don't know the facts of the case. Jadi, sekiranya lah Nazlan dapat duit, diberi gratification, by working for Maybank alone, that's not enough. he must be paid to convict Najib when Najib should not be convicted. Tapi when he did that, his ruling 800 over page for 7 verdicts is apparent. Orang boleh tengok apa dia tulis. Jadi kalau tak nonsensical, orang boleh question, and Court of Appeal, the 3 judges could have overturned, but it did not happen. Therefore, how you are going to prove that Nazlan abused his power as a judge and convicted Najib when Najib should not have been convicted? It's got to go back to the ruling. Jadi it's very tough to do that. Tapi kalau Nazlan dapat duit, untuk apa duit? Jadi that is the task to connect any money, kalau betul lah Nazlan dapat duit, to him abusing or being impartial as a judge to convict Najib for the benefit of the people that paid him that money. This nexus has got to be established to show the wrongdoing. There will be consequences on Nazlan at the judiciary level. They will do something, and thereafter Nazlan will not escape the law and will also be subject to the whole process of law, corruption ke, skandal ke, MACC punya law ke, it will be there kalau dia bersalah. Doesn't matter whether he's judges or not, he's judge or not. Protocol has got to be followed, that's it. Tapi from what I know, sampai sekarang tak ada confirmation betul ke tak Nazlan dapat duit tu yang alleged. And why did Najib punya counsel drop that after that? They drop that matter. They started going on the fact that Nazlan was a counsel for Maybank that arranged for the SRC punya loan. Again, I don't blame Tengku Maimun and Bank to see that that point is totally irrelevant to the crime of Najib sakau duit. Najib sakau duit bukan pasal ada loan, and bukan loan tu yang menolong Najib sakau duit, ataupun the loan ataupun Maybank complicit to help Najib sakau duit. No. Jadi apa? What nonsense is that as far as Tengku Maimun and Bank was concerned. So because of that, they decided no evidence is to be adduced. No more. Tak relevant to the case. They probably opine, stick to your Arabian Tales punya narratives, which Hisham Potek was not prepared. Okay. Tapi sekarang ni, kalau dah MACC kata ada kes, ada benda, all depends on what is it that they gave to Tengku Maimun. Kalau Tengku Maimun pun concur there is a conflict of interest, that means Justin Nazlan should not have heard the case in the first place. He should have recused himself at that point of time. If Tengku Maimun determines that is the case, and there will be action brought upon against Nazlan, confirm, but then there will be an avenue for Najib punya legal counsel to go back to the federal court to ask for another review, because this new revelation was not there before this. Baru je keluar confirm yang MACC mendapati ada salah laku of Justin Nazlan. Tapi kena validate lah. MACC may not know anything, may not know the right thing. What does the CJ think? Betul ke? Dia setuju ke dengan MACC tu? Kalau dia tak setuju, kalau dia rasa benda tak betul, jadi it is in the interest of judiciary for Tengku Maimun to do a press conference ataupun a mahkamah punya press release to talk about this matter, about the fact that MACC conducted a case Nazlan. They can say that it's regrettable that it was not following protocol, and it was done, what it did tainted the judiciary. I think she even said something like that. But having perused everything, we do not agree with MACC, because MACC alleges or contends that Nazlan is a conflict of interest. We don't see how it is conflicting. How any other judge who is not a Maybank punya counsel handling SRC punya loan would naturally preside and have a decision on the case. Tak kena mengena. It doesn't influence Nazlan in any way. Jadi kalau dia kata macam tu, and dia cerita, rakyat boleh menilai, and that's important to maintain the respect and the sanctity, the faith of the rakyat and the world on the Malaysian courts. Jadi I memang recommend Tengku Maimun kena buat press statement. Tapi kalau Tengku Maimun find out kata Nazlan bersalah, then dia tak payah buat press statement. Then dia kena do the needful to relieve Nazlan from any sitting on the future case, terminate ke ataupun suspend ke, whatever lah. And thereafter, MACC should be allowed to be at liberty to investigate Nazlan further. And kalau ada prima facie case, prefer it to the AG, and Nazlan should be charged kalau dia buat tak betul. Okay, I'm against bribe ke apa pun, tapi I tak kata Nazlan salah ke tak, I don't know. Yang buat investigation is MACC. MACC kata ada case. Jadi dia dah bagi kat Chief Justice dah kena determine the veracity and setuju tak setuju. Okay, so let the process go. But in the meanwhile, police should also investigate. Benda macam tu is classified under OSA. Whatever MACC writes to the CJ, macam mana nak Najib perempuan tu dapat. So therefore, she should be hauled up and she should be questioned where she got it from, because she is in possession of something that's protected under OSA and she made it public, in the available to the public domain through social media. That is against the law. So that law pun kena jalan juga. So enough said. There is no clear cut punya direction of this now. As far as I'm concerned, all depends on what is it, what are the contents of the findings of MACC with regards to Nazlan punya alleged conflict of interest. And the monkey now is in the court of the CJ. CJ got to decide now. Either act on Nazlan kalau there is veracity, and you can act quietly and don't even have to declare. Thereafter, MACC should be allowed to do their job to go after Nazlan. Ataupun kalau you don't think that there's grounds on what MACC did, you should make a press statement. You should tell the public and everybody what pendirian that you as CJ and the courts have taken with regards to this report, because it is world knowledge now that MACC found something not right about Nazlan. This perception stains and taints the judiciary punya image. It cannot be left at that. No stones must be left unturned. There must be a response to put this matter to society. I need to also add further that even if, let's say, MACC found Nazlan in breach of judicial punya ethics, judges ethics. Okay, so what are the judges ethics? And let's say Tengku Maimun pun agree, and Tengku Maimun agree that action is taken on Nazlan for the breach of ethics. Okay, so that's breach of ethics as far as Nazlan is concerned. But what has that got to do with the case? Does it have any bearing to the case? So therefore, kalau melanggar the ethics, makes Justice Nazlan unfair to Najib and make him impartial in his decisions to convict Najib, then that has bearing. Then there is a case for Najib's lawyers to take up. Tapi kalau dia langgar ethics yang dia tak patut buat, yang tak kena mengena dengan kes, tak memberatkan, tak menolong ataupun tak menganiayai kes Najib, then whatever the decisions are stands. Don't forget, Justice Nazlan punya decision was also presented to the Courts of Appeal. So Court of Appeal pun tengok everything was in order. Tengku Maimun punya federal bench pun also first look at the appeals court punya findings and found nothing wrong, and nothing wrong with Nazlan punya findings, and they all concur and they all agree, all 9 agreed that Najib goes to jail. So the new punya court tu yang ada Sebli dengan Vernon Ong apa semua tu, that one only look at the technicality of the federal court punya sitting, Maimun punya sitting, whether that was done proper or not, and whether it was fair or not. They don't look at the facts of the case. So therefore, they don't make a decision whether Najib should be acquitted or to be sent to jail. So they just say, kalau dia kata that federal court punya sitting was okay, then stands lah whatever the 9 judges decided. Tapi kalau they decided that no, tak okay, majority decide tak okay, then it puts into question the federal court punya ruling, and therefore it can lead to a retrial at the federal court level to decide whether to overturn the convictions ataupun to uphold. Jadi this is the stark difference. So therefore lah ni okay. Let's say lah betul-betul Justice Azalina langgar ethics. It needs to be established now whether that has bearing to the case or not, has bearing to the verdicts delivered onto Najib or not. Okay, kalau dia langgar ethics tu that makes him compromised as a judge and unfit ataupun biased in deciding on Najib's fate, then this is something that Najib punya lawyers will pursue, and there can be further development to the case. Tetapi kalau tak ada bearing, then dia tak ada case. So even if they bring up to the next federal court punya level to preside over the decision of the High Court and the Appeals Court on Najib's guilt, it will be back to square one. They will say, sorry, we cannot allow this evidence because it's got no bearing to the case. There's no nexus that connects anything. Because of that, back at square one, it's just a waste of time. Najib will remain in jail in the meantime. The only way Najib can keluar temporarily on bail is kalau ultimately this leads to the federal court says that, declares there should be a mistrial where NAZLAN should not have heard the case in the first place, and he should have recused himself, and therefore that whole proceeding was erroneous and needs to be redone. In which case, Najib's case, the AG punya preferred charges on Najib will go before a new High Court punya case. It starts again from square one. So the High Court with a new judge, not NAZLAN, will now listen to the facts of the case, and the case can be argued again by the prosecution and the defense. That is what Najib punya legal counsels were trying to accomplish, to get a retrial, retrial. Jadi retrial tu, they fight another day lah, try their luck again lah to lepaskan Najib. Tapi that can only happen kalau at the first the next federal court level, kalau they manage to bring a request for another review, judicial review, agrees that the breach of ethics, judge ethics by NAZLAN is material to the case, and then after that, thereafter, the federal court yang supposed to preside over the decision of federal court of the appeals court tu pun also decide that it's material to the case and declares there should be a mistrial. Then a retrial at high court level. Then Najib akan keluar and he'll be on bail. He becomes a free man sekejap, but with the case looming over his head lah, just like the other cases. So I hope I made it clear tau. Just because kalau betul pula NAZLAN langgar judges ethics, MACC finds so, and kalau judiciary concurs that NAZLAN breach judicial ethics, judges ethics, they will have to determine whether or not it is material and affected the impartiality of his decision on the 7 guilty verdicts he handed down to Najib. Hope that clarifies.